Mr. Producer? I haven't seen so many lawyers on TV since Perry Mason. Have you? Well, we got defense lawyers, we got former federal prosecutors, we got former judges, all the channels. I mean, I'm losing track. Some of them I've never even heard of before. And I'm guessing the public's getting sick and tired of this case because they know it's a complete farce. They know it's a sham. They know it's a Democrat setup. They know the judge is corrupt. They know the prosecutor's corrupt. People are hoping for a hung jury. I am, for sure. Maybe better, who knows? But also prepared for the worst, just in case. Everybody knows what's going on here. It is a Stalinist show trial. That's exactly what it is. A star chamber is what we used to call it. Rules of evidence are being ignored and trounced. The jury instructions, while everybody's commenting on them, we actually don't have them yet. I suspect he'll give a little to the defense, but in the end, it'll be the wrong kind of jury instructions. I don't know how many lawyers you need to explain this. I really don't. But I just explained it in, 30 seconds, Mr. Producer? Now, as far as Brad Smith goes, 90% of what Brad Smith was going to testify to, he's explained on this program on several occasions. He explained on my Fox show in 2018, 2023, and 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. He's explained in writing. And this is exactly why the judge didn't want him to testify, because he was going to say, in no way in hell is this a crime. And that would have put an end to the whole thing, or as I've said, fired a killer torpedo right into the side of the case. And I've also pointed out that the prosecutor here has committed crimes. He has suborned perjury and you have Brady violations. And it takes, believe it or not, in the legal community, guts to say those things. Some have whispered it. Most won't go there. I go there. I go there because I know what we're up against. I know what we're up against. And in any event, I also know that it needs to be fixed. Otherwise, this will continue. We're going to have Julie Kelly on in the second hour. This morning, she put out a piece that the FBI authorized the use of deadly force during the Mar-a-Lago raid. And we know this because documents were released at the direction of Judge Aileen Cannon in Florida, who appears to me to be a decent, very good judge. And that requires some extensive discussion. We're going to have it with Julie Kelly in the second hour. We're going to go into this. It's not something to blow off. This has not been discussed yet on cable TV, and it needs to be discussed. So we will light a fire under this, and we will listen to the phalanx of lawyers, defense lawyers, former federal prosecutors, former judges, former defense lawyers, maybe former defendants, former plaintiffs. I don't know. We'll get there. But it's very important that we do, and I will talk further about what Brad Smith had said and what he put in posts today as well. ABC News has very strange coverage of what took place in Florida, the release of the documents. On the one hand, they trashed the judge, the last paragraph, by innuendo from the grifters on MSLSD and the Constipated News Network. This judge has been controversial. No, she's not. And then Jack Smith, they missed the point, and I'll get into this. Jack Smith said there could have been other opportunities for obstruction when, in fact, there was an effort to put classified documents back into the secure area, which is why Trump and the others were not charged with additional charges of obstruction, because they were actually trying to do the right thing. But that's missed by ABC News because basically they are partisan hacks and low IQ on top of the rest. At the bottom of the hour, we have a full damn show, boy. But we worked all day on this. That's what we do. We're going to have an exclusive interview with Ron Dermer. Ron Dermer is a member of the War Cabinet. He's probably the closest confidant that Prime Minister Netanyahu has. And he is involved in providing formally national security advice to the Prime Minister and to the Cabinet. He will be coming on the program at the bottom of the hour. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have you watched the Biden propaganda networks? The word Reich, like Third Reich, or Reich, appeared in a video, you see. The split second that the Trump campaign or PAC put out. And everybody said, including George Stephanopoulos, there he goes, Hitler, Trump. He's saying we need a united Third Reich. We need it. And that was put out first by the Biden campaign, regurgitated by all the media, because that's how it works. But that's not what happened. As our friend at Right Scoop, Brian, points out, the media and Joe Biden went nuts today over a video Trump posted to his Truth Social account, calling it Nazi imagery and more. Biden headquarters put out this statement, and of course Stephanopoulos, CNN, the rest. Speaking of the Third Reich, they put their boots on and they marched in order and they clicked their heels and they goose-stepped all the way behind them. They put out this, Trump posts a new ad foreshadowing a second Trump term that says he will create a, quote, unified Reich, unquote, echoing Nazi Germany. Oh, so this is how Joe Biden hopes to get elected. Joe Biden, who is a fascist. Guess what? As Right Scoop says, they're wrong again. He says, I know it's hard to believe, but as it turns out, they're wrong. And of all websites that pointed this out, and I must give them credit, 1 out of 1,000 times, mediocre-ite. They picked up on this. They said, wait a minute, that's not exactly right. Other parts of the ad featured placeholder text about the European great powers and the digging of trenches next to headlines such as borders closed, 15 million illegal aliens deported, and peace through strength. The placeholder text about, quote, the creation of a unified Reich, unquote, also appeared at the end of the ad underneath the slogan MAGA. So we're at the very, very bottom. While the ad caused an uproar on social media, where President Joe Biden's campaign accusing Trump of echoing Nazi Germany. This is from Media. The controversial text appeared to be leftover placeholder text from a video editing template for Adobe After Effects. That's the name of it, Adobe After Effects. The, quote, newspaper vintage history headlines, unquote, template, which is available to download as part of a subscription service online, includes the same placeholder text, ready, about World War I, which was spotted in Trump's ad. Nothing to do with the Third Reich. And they didn't even put it there purposely. While many are aware of the term Reich in the context, writes Media, of the Nazi Third Reich, the term was also used by the German Empire, the Second Reich, from 1871 until the end of World War I in 1918. So they didn't make the ad. The ad uses a standard Adobe template, and the line wasn't even about the Third Reich, the Nazis, and it probably wasn't even supposed to be in there. But guess who that didn't stop, writes Right Scoop. Just doesn't matter if it's true. It only matters if they want to say it's true. Even when you're right, they find a way to still say you're wrong and evil. I even got emails today from family and friends. Look at this. You always have to step back. You need to be extremely cautious. Do not follow the propagandists, the Hamas propagandists, the Hitler Youth propagandists, the Marxist propagandists. Do not follow them, ever. On the other side, you have Anthony Blinken and Biden. You have our UN deputy representative. You have them all putting out condolences that the president of Iran and his sidekick, the foreign minister, died in a helicopter crash, putting out condolences, officially, the United States government. This guy was called the Butcher of Tehran when the revolution occurred, quote unquote. He was responsible for overseeing the slaughter. The estimate is 15,000 people. Most people think more. the most vicious, vile overseer of murder, rape, torture. And we put out our condolences, building nuclear missiles aimed at our cities, funding the terrorist organizations all around the world. But our friend Matt Lee, Mr. Producer, at AP, been around a long time, he would have none of it. So he questions the State Department mouthpiece. Hat tip, right scoop, cut one, go.
Then can I just ask you about the state? What exactly is official condolences?
So condolences on behalf of the United States government.
Well, then why doesn't it say that? This is like official condolences means absolutely nothing, and I'm not even sure why you're offering condolences if this guy was as bad as you say he was.
Look,
why? I mean,
because we regret any loss of life. We don't want to see people die in helicopter crashes. It doesn't change our view of him. Our view of the regime,
there is not one person that you can think of that the United States didn't want to see in an air accident.
There were people on board that aircraft who have families. We thought that's an appropriate step to take. It's the step the United States government has taken when any number of foreign leaders with whom we had vehement disagreements have died. But we also made clear in that statement that we continue to support the Iranian people in their fundamental struggle for freedom.
Really, well, I would just point out to you that when one of the former presidents of Cuba died, this would be Fidel Castro, one of your predecessors, did not offer any condolences. And basically said good riddance.
So I will.
And if you really think that Raisi was as bad as what you have laid out at the beginning, I'm just a little bit curious as to why you would put a statement out, no matter how short it is, but with the line official condolences in it. I don't get it.
As long as we're addressing the historical record, the United States offered condolences when Hugo Chavez died, when Joseph Stalin died, people with whom we had great disagreements.
Wow, you're in great company there, pal. Really good. Go ahead.
An ally of the United States all through, and we talked about this earlier, all through World War II.
He did not die during World War II. He died afterwards when our disagreements with him were quite clear and quite plain and quite well articulated by the United States government. It is a step that the United States takes, recognizing that people have families, and in no way at all undermining our fundamental view of the Iranian regime and its crimes against its own people and our support for the Iranian people.
So the Biden administration gives official condolences to a mass murderer who's also involved in and responsible for the mass murder of Jews in Israel. But the mass murder of people in Yemen, the mass murder of people in Syria, the mass murder of people in the Gaza Strip, and the mass murder of his own people. Because other people were on the plane. That's not what they said. We gave condolences to the family. They said condolences to the butcher of Tehran. And they go after Donald Trump because the word Reich is in a video that even Mediaite says, wait a minute, he's not endorsing the Third Reich. And they go through the technology and how that actually happened and appeared, but the media didn't stop there, did they? No. Now, Mr. Producer, I don't have it in front of me, but I want to quickly move to the questioning of Blinken. In front of, where do we have that here? I have it here somewhere. We've got 1 minute. Let's go to cut 2. Go.
I'm telling you.
Yesterday the State Department issued a statement mourning the death of the Iranian president. Now, I assume as Secretary you share that sentiment?
We expressed official condolences, as we've done when countries, adversaries, enemies or not, have lost leaders. It changes nothing about the fact that Mr. Raisi was engaged in reprehensible conduct, including repressing his own people for many years as a judge. And that as president, it changes not a whit about our policy, but it's something that we've done many times in the past, going back many administrations and many decades, and we do as a normal course of business.
Well, I don't think it should be a normal course of business. I think it's shocking that this administration would mourn the death of the butcher of Tehran. I don't. He's responsible for death, rape, torture, a sworn enemy of the free world. So I think it's a terrible mistake.
But he didn't. You see, you don't understand. It's Trump. Trump's Hitler.